All right, we're going to bring up Hearsay Social, and joining us is the co-founder and CTO, Steve Garrity. This is a very busy area, the social enterprise. Steve, your 2 minutes will begin right. We're having a little technical difficulty here. So start right now.
There we go. I only got 8 seconds left.
All right,
we'll get you a second. I'll just start now and I'll get extra. There we go. So thanks, Fritz. So everybody knows that Facebook is taking over the world. You've got 1 billion active users on Facebook. You've got hundreds of millions more on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Google+, on Foursquare each. Hearsay Social is here to help enterprises plug into the social graph. Right? So how do you use the social graph effectively? We help you do 3 things. We help you know what you should be saying. We help you know when you should be saying it. And we help you stay out of trouble. Very specifically, we help everybody on your team do these 3 things. And so you've got kind of 3 problems when you try to get on social. One is compliance and governance. How do you not get into trouble with the SEC, with FINRA, with the public and brand compliance? We help you stay out of situations like Domino's Pizza or Chrysler, right? If you haven't seen those, I don't have the time to explain them, but there's some pretty good stories there. I'd encourage you to go Google them. On the second one, we help your people stay aligned, right? So don't tweet about your breakfast food, please. Tweet about the business. Say something that actually matches our message and our marketing, right? And third, we help you figure out what you should be saying and drive social insights from data. We kind of give you an overview and analytics of what's happening, what's important, what's going on, and where you should be targeting people and when. So the thing that makes us different from, as you pointed out, a rightfully very noisy space is we focus on local enablement. A lot of people will sell to the 5 corporate marketers on your team, and they'll say, hey, you need to be out there building these giant billboards that nobody really pays attention to on your Facebook page, right? Running these really expensive ad campaigns and building what we call ego follower accounts. We say it's actually more important that social is authentic, that you're developing local relationships. So rather than 5 people in the corporate marketing group, everybody on your sales team should be out on social. They should be out building relationships with your customers and figuring out how things are working, right? They're the ones that are actually going to be selling your product, not that big billboard you put up on the tab. And so we actually did a really interesting study that said local fans are worth 40 to 1 of corporate followers, right? And that basically means that if you publish the same piece of content on a fan page with 1 million people versus a fan page with 500 or 1,000 people, you're going to get 40x the pull-through, click-throughs, engagement, views, likes, comments that you'll get as you got on the 1 million fan page. So we're about 18 months in, and things are going great. We're really lucky to partner with a couple of great customers, Thrivent Financial, Northwestern Mutual, 24 Hour Fitness, or some of the biggest ones people recognize, and a lot more on the slides there.
Okay, great. Thanks very much, Steve. All right, let's go to our judges. We'll start on the other end this time. Tom Claiborne.
Okay, well, great. Well, I'm gonna pull out an 8 just because I like the idea of forcing people not to tweet about their breakfasts. I think if you can make social, I'm a little bit skeptical of social, but I think that if it certainly needs a little bit more discipline to work in the enterprise, and obviously something that could be very useful.
Charlie, we're putting you in the position of having to agree or disagree with the first judge again, so.
I'm going to come in a little lower. I like your approach. I think you're on the right track, but I think the big problem with social media is discriminating what is the good information there versus the flood of information. You do that, I think you ought to do it more.
Boonsy, you are a social media maven, so how did this message resonate with you?
I liked it. It's an 8. I can see why that approach works, because obviously a more authentic message is good. Obviously, like the whole bring your own trend is catching on, but it's interesting that people working at big enterprise companies are told not to speak to the press, but when people tweet, they're allowed to tweet. So I think that they actually have more freedom online.
I think Boonsy doesn't like the compliance aspect of it.
That's right. No.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at.
When you're on the bleeding edge like Boonsy is, there's no compliance whatsoever. Is
right. There? You should be able to do whatever you want.
BYOT instead of BYOD. Of course, BYOD is where Byte is focused on the bring your own device market. So, Steve, you heard what the judges have to say. You have 30 seconds to respond.
Yeah, I think you all made some really good points, and Bunsi, I'm with you on. I'd love to kind of be totally open and say what I want on Twitter, and I tend to. At the same time, in the regulated industries in particular, the law unfortunately says you can't do that, and so it's nice to give people a little more expressiveness without getting into too much trouble. To your point about the flood of data, I think that's actually the really interesting part of the local approach, is it lets you farm out the data and say, well, 5 people at corporate can't take care of 1 million followers and their comments. The 10,000 salespeople you have who deal with those 1 million customers today actually can handle the data pretty well.
Right on time. Okay, well, we have another guest who's going to join us. Thanks very much, Steve, for your time.